You're listening to Parasearch Radio, news, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio. Parasearch Radio, broadcasting to the UK and beyond.
The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised. You're listening to The Spectral Zone with host Caz Rooney.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Spectral Zone on Parasearch Radio. As always, I'm your host, I'm Caz Rooney, and tonight I am being joined by Debbie Aspin McHugh, who is a psychic medium. Hello, Debbie.
Hello.
How are you?
All right, thank you. You?
I'm good, thanks. So the subject we're going to discuss tonight is provocation in the paranormal.
Yeah. Okay.
So how I'm going to start this off, the actual definition of provocation is action or speech that makes someone angry, especially deliberately, or the action that is piquing interest and making people act, especially deliberately. Okay? Yeah. So I know you. Well, let's find out a bit about you first.
What?
What you do, Debbie.
Sorry?
Tell us about the work you do.
Well, I have done mediumship and psychic work. I do some healing work as well. I've done clearings on houses, pubs, for spiritual cleansing. Also energy cleansing, because some people do create their own energies in there as well, that can create havoc. But yeah, I've done quite a few. Yeah.
Have you found yourself in a situation where maybe people have provoked what's going on in the house?
Yeah, I do find that they've done some messing about sometimes, playing with things they shouldn't, like Ouija boards and things like that. I don't believe in those at all. I don't believe you're protected. As a medium, we work with the light. We protect ourselves with the light. We always say our prayers before we do things, and we call upon our guides to help protect us from any unwanted influences as well. But when you open up and you use these type of things, they are not protected. They do not say a prayer most of the time, because half of the time people don't know what they're doing. They just want to contact somebody, and they don't always pull through who they want. And I do believe that there's other entities than human spirits that have been here that can come through those type of, ways of trying to channel a spirit. Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's totally unacceptable, really, and dangerous.
Well, this is the thing, Debbie. Do you believe there's darker energies? I believe there's darker energies.
I do believe there are very dark energies. There are energies that... I once knew somebody, and she was a wonderful medium, and I asked about her because I'd not seen her for a while, and I got told that she killed herself because Jesus told her to. And that was a darker energy, because obviously anybody that's been a healer on this earth plane would never come through and say that. but she thought she was proving her faith. And that was a darker energy that came through to her and, sort of taunted her. And, it's how sustainable you are at the time yourself, how stable you're feeling. You've got to keep your own stability of mind, be grounded as much as you can. I drink a lot of water as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of water, because I believe that it helps break connections also, as well as, it detoxes your body and things like that being good for you.
Yeah.
If I was doing a reading in a service, say, I'd break the connection by sipping the water. And, it does help, but you need to be protected. If you don't believe in a God, you must believe in the light and that there is a divine energy that will look after you, because that divine energy is part of your ancestral line as well. So, but dark energies are people that have done wrong on this earth plane as well. Murderers, rapists, anyone that just doesn't care about the consequences in life and just thinks they can live life how they please and hurt anyone they like. They are dark energies. And somebody that's poorly or very vulnerable, they will try and they will, it's important in life not to be a victim but a survivor, because if you stay in victim mode, they can attack your energy. And it's not nice, to be attacked by a spirit, but you've got to always have the light around you as anyone that wants to channel a spirit through or contact a spirit. I do know some mediums that do use Ouija boards, not personally, but they're friends of people I do know, and they're mediums, so they do work with the light, but I'm quite wary myself. I would never entertain anything like that. I get quite angry with people, and I don't sort of lash out at them, but I do tell them in a responsible way that what they've done is wrong, and if I have to come back, I won't come back.
Well, do you find, you've got a certain responsibility when you go into a house or...
Yeah, you have. You go into a home or a building and you're going in and you what I do is I go, okay, show me who is here. And I'll either feel the person or I get to see an image of the person. So then I work from there. That depends on the reaction to me. Now, if they say nothing, then I would treat them with compassion and I go in. I don't talk out loud like some people talk out loud to spirit. I don't do that. We speak on a telepathic link and we speak through our minds. It's not needed. So you're communicating it. You're telling them that it's okay and you're not there to harm them. You're explaining to them that you're going to send them over to the light and that their family will be there waiting for them. But there are people that don't want to go. So they're the ones that start getting abusive. But then you've got to know that, like me, I've got a huge family, and
so do I.
Yeah, all the witchcraft, the mediumship, the psychic gifts, the sages, the everything goes back to the early 18th century. So I've got an army with me, and that is what I say. I say, well, if they want to cut my throat, which I've had said to me, I will cut your throat. Now beep off. And I've said, well, I hope you've got an army, because I have. And, and then I start and I build my light. If it's in an area, there are things where you can go in an area and it's not in the house, it's in the area. So then you've got to build that light to force that darkness back, because there's too much of it to clear outside. So, but obviously you build up your light and you ask for your spirit guides to come over and help you and bring I always ask, could you bring a family member for this person? And most of the time it works, except for with the orphan children. Any orphan children that are terrified, they don't always have a parent to come and get them. So I get my grandma. She was brilliant with kids and she loved children. Yeah. She was like a mum to me. And she comes and, the children walk off into her hands, and they walk away with her into the light. It's wonderful. So the darker energies, they do fights and they fight, but and I do have ascended masters as well. Carla is one of them. And she does basically take the soul, the dark soul from the soul that is pure and, of the earth, which is human. And they don't allow them to stay. So I don't really have much to do, only ask and do the visualising and, put the energy there really and ask them to help me with that.
Yeah. Well, when you look at provocation, what do you consider to be provocation?
To me, provocation is insulting spirit. If you insult spirit from the start, you can go in a house, and I'm not judging people because when I've not been able to clean up, my house gets bad. But if that house isn't in a good, tidy state, that is a low energy.
Okay.
So, say you've worked your whole life and you've bought this house and then you've passed away and someone look after that house, that can provoke the spirit to want.
Okay.
Or there's other ways, they don't agree with what you're doing, your lifestyle, anything like that. But there's where you're working with the dark, your dark thoughts. You've got. I can kill somebody attitude if I wanted to. I think anybody could if they could hurt somebody enough. So that's another way to prevent energy to come around you.
Do you feel though that in some circumstances you've got to kind of stand your ground? You've got to be respectful, but you've got to stand your ground.
Yeah, you have to be respectful. You always walk in with respect.
Yes,
but if they're being difficult, then you have got to be tough. You have to be hard. I do believe most mediums have been to hell and back more than once, probably, in their lifetime. This is why they were given these gifts to help them through the life from birth. Most of, I have been aware of spirit since being a little girl. I picked faces into the walls and got pasted for it. But, we go through a lot and it gives us the feeling sometimes for other people. And I believe that spirit draw close to us in that way. But that's those type of experiences that you do go through that are the hell, then that's where your inner strength comes from. And it's that I will not be beaten. You will not beat me down. I will stand my ground. I am not scared of you. I work with the light. I'm protected. I know I'm going to be. You are going. End of. You are going. And I there are prayers that you do. I have my own prayer that I do, which is for angels and guides. So, and I use that myself. I say it out loud, and I ask for protection for all the people that are present with me and things like that. I sort of I am a light worker, so I use the light to my advantage. Which, there are ways of doing, but I don't want to put that on air because there are people that use the light for harm. So there are those types of people. You see, when you talk about dark and light spirits, I've seen light spirits that are possessing people and taking them over and taking them over and taking them over. And basically the light, stealing the light off that person because they are a pure light being themselves. and they do steal that energy, you know, and become lighter, some of those energies as well. So I have learned a lot from what I have seen, because I've literally, when they're not, especially when you're working with other gifted people or mediums or, you know, anybody else that's got a gift, you tend to get the vision of the being that they are. You know, some healers are green. They have a green light body to say they're bringing the healing, like Raphael for your angels. You have that in your light body as well. So there are different colours for different things. I don't always believe that dark beings are also totally dark, because I know that some of the energies that work with me are a darker shade. They're not totally black, don't get me wrong. They are a darker shade, but they were boxers and they were in the army. So they killed people, and that's their darkness.
Yeah.
And when you're fighting, you're hurting people and you're enjoying it sometimes. So that's their darkness as well. So, you know, I try to not put too much fear into people when it comes to dark or light. And working for good or bad. But then at the same time, sometimes there are those energies. And I have this saying, the living can hurt you more than the dead.
Yeah,
and
Dad always said that.
What you are is what you attract. A teacher said that to me, and I really believed it to be true. And if you stay in a light energy, I mean, I get there sometimes. I go on one, and that's it. And you can feel that dark side creeping in, you know, where you're so angry, you want to rip somebody's head off type of thing. And I'm lucky, because I do pull myself back, but I've got friends that send me a lot of healing and a lot of light to help me to get myself back as well, you know, because it is easy to get carried away. But like regards with spirit, that's the fight. That little bit of darkness is that fight that you need to fight them in the first place. If you know what I mean.
I do understand.
You're using it for the light. It's, what do you mean you're going to cut my throat? I'll kick your ass.
Yeah.
That's you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You and whose army.
That's what I mean. You do need to stand up for yourself sometimes.
You do. You've got to fight back. You can't, you know, we have ever real bodies, and we can become that being. I can come out my body and fight that being.
Yeah.
I can, and I will. If it takes me to come out my body to push another being out of another person, that's what I do. That's what I do. And they do try to say, you're weak, you're not strong, you can't get rid of me. Some of them even pray with you. Some of them even pray with you to try to take your focus off your prayer and put it onto them, so that you stop praying, because then they'll stop praying as well. Don't forget, they won't finish the prayer off for you.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, I've not really done a lot of possessions, but when
this is the thing.
I can get it out by and I shouldn't, because it drains me, and I'm not in the best of health. But you know, we all have good days and we all have really bad days at times, don't we? You've just got to keep going with that. And you know that on those good days, you're really strong. And even if you're having the worst day and you've got something to do, I'll tell you this, spirit will take everything off you until you've done what you need to do. When it's work for spirit, they'll give you back full shebang after, and maybe a bit more besides. But once you're, maybe for that half an hour or that hour that you're doing that job, you are feeling wonderful.
Well, this is the thing.
Because you are of the light and you've got good people on your side. So you can stand your ground. I mean, most people have only met one or maybe two guides. I'm lucky. I've met 1, 2, 3, 4 guides. No, 5, 6 guides, because I have a massage guide that I used to work with me. He was a Chinese man, and I have a great big Indian type fella. He's got huge hands.
Yeah.
And I nearly rocked people off the table when I was healing. It was weird. My techniques changed altogether, and people knew when people were stepping in. So I'm lucky that way. But, I watched that candle flame a lot as a child. I meditated a lot as a child. I was in nature by myself with the animals a lot as a child. I was very in touch with things. I knew things as a child. I felt people die as a child. I have been born with what I've got. I just didn't have confidence to use it. But I do know what I'm talking about when I talk about it, when it links to spirit and healing.
Yeah.
But we're all capable of being special in that way. Some of us are less open to it. I've been lucky really because my family have talked about things like that, with being all gifted on the lady's side, on my mum's side. So, I've heard conversations. I picked up a book at my nana's at 7-year-old, and it had palmistry in it and planets, so we all
them kind of things.
Yeah, but we have to all recognise that we all have those gifts, but we all have to also have respect for those gifts, because a lot of people just start working. I always suggest you should go to a spiritual church to work as near where you can go as possible, because they teach you about the protection, the prayer. You need that faith, you need that calling upon your guides to help you. You don't want to just set out in the world and start trying to work by yourself. Some people can, don't get me wrong, and they're very, very good at it. But some people I've read for in the past have opened themselves up and they've ended up with darker attachments.
Have they provoked though?
Well, I think they probably have, because they must have been in a negative energy.
Yeah.
And, they're being paralysed by them.
Right. Now, today, because we were doing this, I done a little poll on my.
Right.
Now, interestingly, the most popular one picked was that sometimes you need to provoke a little bit. Sometimes it's necessary to provoke, to get some reaction.
Yeah, sometimes it is, yeah. But what I do is I go in with the respect. In my mind, I go in with the respect to see who's there. Depending on who's there is depending on what type of... Because you can't just go, right, come on, excuse me, can you leave? You've got to go, right, you're not welcome in this home.
Yeah.
I do believe you still have to have that respect. Yeah. In the first instance, you should have to say, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to leave, type of thing. But that depends on them then, how far that goes. It's like, you are going to go, you are going.
Well, this is the thing, Debbie.
You will be taken. Guides will come in and pull them off. People have said to me, you can't force a spirit to leave a house. Sometimes you can. Sometimes you can. It depends how many are there.
Well, I mean...
And I think it depends on the actual entity.
One thing that I do need to say, Debbie, is when you talk about provocation, people think you're being disrespectful or being angry or yelling or demanding or... But I don't believe it means that. You can be respectful but still provoke a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, I've been thinking about this quite a bit. And I've been talking about this quite a bit for the past few weeks. But if you think about it, all these groups, I mean, we're all going out doing investigations. Yes, we won't provoke in an angry way.
Yeah.
But we are provoking.
Yeah, well, you're provoking sometimes, yeah.
Every time we put on a bit of music that fits that time, every time we're using a trigger object.
Yeah, because, like heavy metal things, if they don't like what you're doing, you could be smoking, you could be drinking, they could be Catholics and not into alcohol or, some other religion. So whatever you're going to do is going to provoke them.
But even just bringing in, say there was a child spirit in there. If you're bringing in a teddy bear and you put the teddy bear on the table and you're talking as if you would to a child, you're being kind, you're being nice, but you're still trying to provoke a reaction.
Oh, yeah, you are, yeah. Sure, yeah, they're provoking a positive reaction, though, aren't with that.
It's still provoking.
Oh. I don't believe that you need an actual teddy bear. I'd put a spiritual teddy bear there, me, with my own mind, because we're working on a telepathic link. And they would see it. They would see it, because that's the way that I do work. I don't need to bring physical items and put them there, you know.
From a investigator's point of view.
Yeah, true. See, I don't really go...
Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I've gone to clear the energies and to...
Debbie? I think we've lost her.
Because they are darker beings, and I don't believe that they all do go to the light.
Well, I mean, what we've got to concentrate on tonight, I
believe that they're taken through the light. I do believe they're taken through the light, but they have to pass through the light to get to wherever else they're going.
Well, what I found interesting was, also on the poll, 6 people said that provocation is never acceptable.
Yeah.
And
well, no, that's why.
I know these 2 or 3 of them are mediums.
That's why you've got to always have respect in your mind and in your heart when you're going into the place. You know, you're not going into the place to think, right, we're going to kick some ass today. You're going into the place to help the people that's there, and perhaps help. A lot of these people lived in those houses first, so it's still their house. It's still their house.
Yeah, and it might still be their house. I mean, I do believe in respect. You do have to be respectful.
Yeah, but you've still got to be firm, because it's no longer their house, and these people deserve to have a happy life just like they did.
Right, so that's where you're coming from, and then to help people as an investigator.
Yeah.
When we go into a location, we will always be respectful.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes the spirits need healing themselves as well to go over. So, you know, you're doing that at the same time. That spirit might, you know, they're terrified of passing over. They don't know what's there. You know, and some of them become angry because they've been here that long. They've had how many people living in their houses? You know, they've no peace, they've no quiet, they've kids banging around, they've music blasting. You live here with them. And it's, you know, you've got to have that understanding. You have to have that understanding, but then you've got them that have done wrong.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, I've been in locations where maybe...
I get to see, like, past life premonitions as well, what's gone on in that room. Yeah. And I will see, they will show me, like, I've seen children flying across attics. You know?
But see, that's when I think that...
And you know that
it's standing up to yourself.
You've got to stand up to that kind of person. Like I said, it depends on what is there. It always depends on what is there. And some spirits will get a kick out of frightening. My son, I got told years ago, he kept saying to me when he was little, the door keeps moving, Mum. The wardrobe door keeps opening, Mum. And I said, no, it'll be all right. You know, I thought, no, it'll be fine. And then years later, a medium said to me, you know, your son is terrified of spirit, and he's got a teeny-weeny guide that's with him. And he's ever so mischievous. He's about 4 or 5 years old. And it keeps moving things. And it was happening at the time. He was going, something just moved across my floor, Mum. And, you know, and it was all divine timing, what was said to me. So some spirits are mischievous.
They can be mischievous. And
they are mischievous.
That.
Yeah.
But if you're standing up for yourself, are you really provoking? I don't think so.
No, I don't think you're provoking if you're standing up for yourself. To me, provoking's going in with that kick-ass attitude.
Yeah.
Right.
I do know people that do that.
Yeah. But I'm not knocking them. I don't knock any other medium. We all work in our own different ways. Like I said, we're all gifted. Nobody should be in competition. I don't believe in competition. I think we should all be backing each other and helping each other out, if anything. You know, on my Earthly Angels page, I've shared other mediums. I share other businesses at times. If I think, oh, yeah, that looks nice, I'll put that on my page. You know, don't do it all the time. But I do. And I believe that you should do sometimes, because why would you not want to? I go and watch mediums all the time. I go and have my tarot cards read all the time. So why not encourage someone to go to someone else as well as to you?
But
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
But
now, the other thing that came up,
how they work is up to them. But my particular way, I won't go in and deliberately provoke.
You won't go in and deliberately provoke. But one thing that came up in the poll today that I did, Wendy joins. We've got to say hello to Wendy.
Hello, Wendy.
Hello, Wendy. She'll tell us if we don't. But Wendy was one of the people who agreed that investigators, when we're going into a location, we actually provoke a reaction without intending to.
Yeah, you probably do, because obviously a lot of these investigations, they're in old buildings, aren't they? And you're going in that building and it's their place, so they think, what these nosy gets doing here? You know, why are they bothering us all the time? So you're provoking them, really, but at the same time, investigations are all about curiosity of the spirit world. So they don't mean any harm, you know, so it's still, again, unintentional provoking, isn't it?
I have actually seen investigators who have been sworn at.
Yeah, they do get, they do get that.
They've been picked on the whole night. For some reason, it's just followed them the whole night. I've actually seen that going on. And they haven't actually done anything. But it seems to be their very presence provokes a reaction.
Well, you know, I think if you've got fear in your heart, they will pick up on it and they will torment you. You know, if you're frightened of spirit, they will sense that. A spirit knows a medium. That's why mediums get lots of spirits visiting them, because they're like a beacon of light. So, you know, sometimes they think, well, come on, sense this, sense this, sense this. They know who the beginners are. They know they do know a lot about your energy, because they're energy themselves. So, you know, it's funny, really, because they will pick on the weakest soul as well.
The thing is, I mean, one thing I do have to say, I mean, obviously I've said before, provocation brings up this image of somebody trying to provoke an angry reaction. It's not always angry.
Yes.
But going into a house and being disrespectful, cursing, swearing, name calling, things like that aren't acceptable.
No, I don't name call. They name call me, and I just give them their strength back me. I just say, you and who's army. You know, well, I might use the F word, you and who's army, but, you know, I don't actually start calling them. You know, I might do with the drivers, but they're not spirits that are around me. They're physical beings with a spirit. So, but I think we all get a bit road rage now and again, don't we? But no, I do try to be professional. You know, there's a time for swearing when you're stressed or you get carried away with your friends. I don't particularly go swearing at spirit unless I'm at home, mind you. If someone's unwelcome in my bedroom, they will get told where to go, because it's my room, not theirs.
Well, that's fair. That's your safe space. That's your sanctuary, isn't it?
Because I suffer with my health, and I can become negative. It does make you negative. You can draw in a negative energy to you. So then you've got to stand up for yourself because you're in your own place. Because if you don't, you're buggered, basically. And that was following the advice of another medium, Lorraine Bamford, to be honest. I sought her advice about something once. And she said, you've got to stand up for yourself. You've got to be like that. So that was in my own home. So I was like that. And it sorted it. I just had to be like that, But because I've always had that respect for spirit. So, like I said, there's a time and a place.
Yeah, there is a time and a place.
I mean, if I was in some big haunted building, it's different when you're in a home, I think.
It's very different when you're in a home because you've got to consider the people that's in it.
And
the people you're leaving in it.
In a pub as well sometimes because there's been so many through, but even though they thought that was their home, but in pubs there's so much dark energy anyway. There's so many fights break out in pubs off alcohol and things like that, don't there? And people have rows off alcohol and that energy builds up in that place and the spirits become worse and worse with the strength of that energy. So maybe you might need to with those sorts of places as well. But I'll tell you something, I once got called to do a pub and she said, next time I see you, I'll give you the number, because she was rushing and she was begging me to ask for help. And she said, they've been doing Ouija boards down in the cellar. Well, spirit kept me away.
Really?
I never saw that lady again. So, because I got a feeling that they hadn't brought some of the earth plane type spirit through. And she said that things were happening that were terribly bad. So, she said, I'll give you a call and I'll give you the number to ring her. And I never heard another word. I never saw her. And I saw her every week till that day, So I do believe sometimes if it's going to be too much for you, you won't be able to go.
Well, do you know what?
Believe that sometimes.
Debbie, I want to bring up a different situation completely.
Go on.
Right. So, say you go into a place. I have.
Yeah.
And there's absolutely nothing happening. But the hanging there, the hanging back.
Yeah, I've seen that.
A little bit, maybe shy or too intimidated to come forward. So then maybe you've got to provoke a little bit to get them to come forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
That.
Yeah, I have seen somebody hanging from an attic once at a clearing, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, when they're just staying back that little bit, the spirit's there, but the spirit's not communicating.
Yeah, they do try to hide from you.
Yeah.
I've known them to hide from you, yeah. Yeah. As you're going in one room, they're ducking out of a room into another type feeling, and they try to shield their energy. That they're somewhere. But,
so in that situation, do you think provocation a little bit? Nice provocation.
Sometimes,
it's necessary.
You have to go show yourself. I don't swear yet again, but you will see yourself. I will see you, and then obviously that's when they show yourself hanging from an attic or whatever. But, you've just got to think, right, okay, what I do? Silly, really, because I'm a weirdo. I go, yeah, that's just your image. That's just the energy of what you've left behind, the way you've died, isn't it? So, and it just disappears.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, it just disappears. So, and then you just, with your guides, because what you can't see, they will. But, if I've done a clearing and I think I've done this for ages and I still feel like they're there, and they might still be, if you've got a problem, call me. Because at the end of the day, it's better sometimes to go back twice than to totally burn out your energy. I have found that it just depends how many spirits you've cleared in that property first.
Well, here's the thing. Right, we're going to break it down bit by bit.
Yeah.
So, say I went into, or you went into a very old church. You know the spirits there.
Yeah.
You know they're hanging about there, and they're kind of not showing themselves, but you know they're there.
Yeah.
So, if we play some hymn music, is that provocation?
Well, no, because they're in the church in the first place, and that's what they were doing there. They played music in the church, so why would it provoke the spirits? They should enjoy it, should they not?
Yeah, they should enjoy it, but by definition, you're actually doing an action to provoke a reaction. So,
well, yeah, it's to provoke a reaction. Yeah.
Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of definitions to provoke, isn't there? Really?
Yeah, there is. But I mean, any action,
yeah, because you're actually trying to get spirit to react.
Yeah.
So you've got to do something to make them react. Yeah, I do understand that, but
not always a bad way.
When you say the word provoke, it usually comes across as a bad thing, doesn't it? I wouldn't say to provoke a reaction. I'd say to encourage a reaction. I wouldn't say provoking. I'd see it as encouraging spirit to step forward, encouraging spirit to speak out, to show themselves, to give a sign. It's to encourage, not to provoke. Provoke, to me, is trying to make somebody angry and upset somebody or something, obviously.
I don't actually see provocation as being a bad thing or an angry thing at any time. The way, by the definition, and by the way you're looking at it, if you're taking an action to get a reaction from someone else, then you are provoking them to do something.
Oh, you are doing really, yeah.
To be bad or angry or upset or any of that. But you are actually taking an action in the hope of getting a reaction from someone else. That is, in fact, a provocation.
Well, yeah.
So in that way,
I think everybody thinks different, though, don't they? Sorry.
That's where you're coming from.
Well, we do, don't we? We all have a different definition and a different meaning to everything. So we all going to see it in a different way. It's like looking at a marble. Some of you will see the blue, some of you will see the yellow, some of you will see the green, and some of you will see the glass, but it's still a marble.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Weird way of saying it, and I don't know where the heck it came from, but
I have literally gone I have been doing paranormal investigations for a long time now.
Yeah.
But if people say to me, what about provoking? You never provoke.
Well, I don't say never. No, because like you, the way you word it is you're provoking a thing. But I'd say I'm going to encourage. I'm going to encourage spirit to, leave the home or come out and show us whatever. So yeah.
Debbie.
Yes, Caz.
Right. So if you're doing an action to get a reaction.
Yeah. Well, you're provoking. In psychology terms, we are provoking it, yeah. Yeah, we are, yeah.
I mean, you're using trigger objects from the time period of if you're playing music, if you're reciting poetry.
Yeah.
That one before reciting poetry. These little things you're doing, provocation doesn't need to be a bad thing.
No, it doesn't need to be a bad thing.
But the word seems to conjure up a bad thing. Now, I've said for a long time I don't provoke.
Yeah.
And I actually think about it now, I'm saying, yes, I do.
Yeah, well, I probably do. I do it in real life as well, but but sometimes you have to, don't you? Like you say, I'll take your phone off you if you don't clean up. It's provoking a response, isn't it? So yeah, I suppose you would do. Yeah.
I'll give you a hint about that.
Yeah.
Don't bother taking the phone. Let them take the phone. Change the Wi-Fi password. Works every time. Change the Wi-Fi password. No, but where I'm looking at it from, we are going into a location. Yes, we'll be respectful.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll last politely.
Yes, always. Yes.
If we are getting messed about, or if they're being nasty to us, then yes, we'll stand the ground.
Yes.
But by using trigger objects, music, whatever it is, we are essentially provoking.
Well, yeah,
provoking.
Yeah. Well, it's a funny thing. When I'm going to put energy in a place, I will play music full blast to provoke the energy and disturb the energy, wake the energies up to clear it out. So, yeah, I do provoke a lot, really.
It's not necessarily always a bad thing, is it?
No, it's not. No, because it's, you're trying to provoke with a good energy. So, yeah. But like I said, I wouldn't use the word provoke myself, but
you would use encouraging.
I wouldn't have thought about it as provoking, or I just think about it as a fascination for spirit. I'm going to sense, or I just tend to go in and feel me, to be honest. I go in and I feel what's there, and then I get the visions and I hear them and things from that. Or you may feel all the emotional tears they've cried.
Yeah.
You'll yourself. Yeah.
I felt horrible.
Yeah, you feel the horror of something, don't you? Yeah.
I'm sensitive and I'm an empath. So
yeah. It's awful, isn't it? Well, it is, isn't it? It's a blessing and a curse because you do feel it, and sometimes you can't always. You can send that spirit healing, but you can't always take every bit of pain away because that's their memories, isn't it?
Yeah.
And at some point they will always come back to them. I wrote something on my page the other day about, you've got to be careful what memories you create, really, and how you see those memories. Yeah, they may be bad, but you've got to try and learn to live with them and see them as good, because you've got them to live with your full lifetime, which is way beyond this body. What body you're inhabiting, your lifetime is going to be so much further than that. It's never ending. You've just got all that to carry with you forever, and that's what spirits have got. So yeah, you're provoking sometimes. Yeah. But you've just got to have I believe the respect has to come first. But like you say, you're not intentionally going in to upset anybody.
This is the thing. I mean, when I've been thinking about it, obviously I'm looking at it for a paranormal investigation for you.
Yeah.
Yes, we're always going to be respectful. We're always going to be polite. But at the end of the day, there is myself included in this. I'll own up to it. But we are all running about going, no, we would never provoke. But yes, we're provoking.
Yeah.
An object, or you're using whatever it is to get a reaction, then you're provoking.
Yeah, because if you're burning incense, you can burn incense to provoke a reaction, can't you? You provoke, when you're doing a clearing of energy, even just energy, not spiritual energy, but energies that, they are spiritual energies still, but the vibrations, aren't they, from what's happened? And when you're clearing that, you're provoking it.
Yeah.
Because you're upsetting that energy to get it to leave, aren't you? So, sometimes we're asking them to leave. Sometimes we're just going to be nosy. Obviously, I haven't actually been to any investigations per se. Most of my I know I keep saying I will, but it's cold. I get affected, and I walk badly as well. So,
Do you know what? I'll speak to you about that after the show, but there's one you can come to. So,
yeah, I do want to. Yeah, I've been asked to do a few as a medium, but it's just not happened. It's been bad timing for me. So, yeah, but
well, I mean,
I will actually get to one. Yeah, I wanted to go to Lancaster Castle, but they do them all the time, don't they? So I'll get to one.
Get to one eventually.
I will eventually get there, yeah.
Interesting thing about this whole thing is, I mean, from a mediumistic point of view, and from helping others, you would not go in and provoke. You'll always be respectful. You'll always be polite.
Yeah.
Coming from a paranormal investigator's point of view, yes, we'll go in. We will be respectful. We'll be respectful of the people who own the property. We'll be respectful of the spirits in the property.
Yeah. You keep cutting off. I don't know what's happening.
I have no idea. But in essence, the word provocation brings up all these images of something really bad. And I don't believe it's something really bad.
No, it's not always something really bad. But it's just the way it's...
That word brings up that image.
See, because people are used to using the word provoking. You're provoking an argument. You're provoking trouble. And that comes from way back, the way they used to speak, isn't it? So... And that's the way that I would think of it as well, because of the way that I've been brought up to think as provoking as aggravating something. Don't provoke. You know, leave that dog alone. You're provoking it. You know, it's that type of thing. So people learn to see it that way. And I think that obviously if we work with spirit, we should see it in another way. You know, shouldn't we really? But I still say I'm encouraging. Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. You're encouraging and I'm provoking.
Yeah.
I provoke.
Well, we can encourage and provoke.
I provoke in a nice way. Not a bad way.
Yeah. We could always change wording to privilege.
Yeah, we could change it completely.
We'll make a new word up in dictionary. Teenagers do it all the time. But yeah. Yeah.
Coming from my point of view, going into a location, you're going to be nice, you're going to be polite, you're going to respect the spirits in there as well as the people who own the property that you're in. But when you think about it, there's two different types of provocation. There is the horrible side of it, where you're being nasty, you're shouting, you're yelling, you're swearing. You're doing everything to get a bad reaction.
Yeah.
But there's nice provocation. Where you're just playing music or using trigger objects or using coins or using keys or using...
Torches. Yeah, torches are a good one, aren't they?
Using teddy bears, using whatever it is.
See, I don't see that. I see that as giving spirit tools to work with.
Yeah,
you know, it'd be like bringing toys in. They've not had toys for a long while, so you know, I do see it as a good thing.
It is a good thing, but by definition,
you still provoke
action to create a reaction.
Yeah.
Is provoking.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And I can twist it and make it way you want. But
you can, it's still provoking, yeah.
It's still provoking.
Yeah, we can't get out of it, can we?
So now I've got to completely change everything I say on my group, which is I don't provoke to, well, maybe I do a little bit.
Yeah, maybe we do a little bit, yeah. Maybe we do.
Nice ways, not bad ways. Provocation isn't always a bad thing.
Talking in an encouraging way.
Sometimes spirit needs those little things to come forward.
Yeah.
So doing that action, getting that reaction, you're in fact provoking.
Yeah. And sometimes you need those things because, like me and you could go in there. We know what's there. We can feel what's there. We can see, smell, hear, taste what's there sometimes. But a lot of people that go on these investigations, they go in because they're curious. and they haven't all had a spiritual experience, you know, or they may have had, but they may not work like somebody that works with spirit does. And so then they need, you know, I've known people go to the spiritualist church in classes for years, and I never get anything, you know. But they're the type of people that need the torches and, you know, the tables moving, and it helps them to clarify sometimes that they're there, because they can't feel them. They might not feel that hot or cold.
Yeah.
Of spirit.
Not everybody's going to react the same way.
I mean, everybody will feel a breeze across your face or something like that, but not everybody would feel them touching their hair.
No,
you know, some people would still be brushing things off as, oh, it was just something, or there'll be a gap over there somewhere. Yeah. They'll always, people try to rationalise everything, so spirit do need them tools to work sometimes. I mean, they're always ringing chimes in my house. They move things in my bedroom when I'm trying to go to sleep at night. They're very nosy, you know. I'm sure they play with my crystals. So, you know, they provoke me just as much. Do you know what I mean? So they provoke you and you provoke them.
Do you know what? That's a good point, Debbie.
Isn't it though? It's true.
So when they're chucking stones at you, they're provoking you.
Yeah, you'd be right. Well, just go around the world provoking one another in good ways. Good ways over. Yeah.
But
that's down to spirit, isn't it? That depends on what spirit wants. I mean, if they want to be provocative in a nasty way, then obviously you're going to be provocative back in a nasty way, aren't you?
You've got to stand your ground.
You have to do that.
You do need to stand your ground.
Yeah. You've every right to be there as much as they have, really, in some terms. So yeah, you have to do. You know, the way I see it is, hang on a minute, you're in spirit. We're supposed to be on this earth plane.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing, Debbie. I can't count on my fingers and toes how many times.
I do say this stuff.
Over how many times I've been told to get out of a location.
Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah. They do to get out because they think it's their place.
Yeah.
I've had, you know, spirits go, I rule this roost.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you don't. And I'm getting rid of that chair because that's the chair you like most. And I will tell them to get rid of something. Because lots of the time, you know, they will say to me, do you know that chair was with the house when we got it? You know, yeah. If you can, don't keep other people's furniture. Get rid of it. They're attached to things sometimes as well.
Well, you know, that brings up a whole other subject. We need to do a sport attachment.
I know what they do. Yeah, that's another one.
That's another one.
Yeah.
But so, what are we going to round this up to? There's two different kinds of provocation.
Yeah, there's two different ways of doing provocation, isn't there? There's a positive, you know, because, I mean, if you think about it on the earth plane, if you're being seductive, you're being provocative.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where the heck that came from, but it came to me. Someone must have told it me, but it can be, can't it? It could be a positive experience and it could be a negative experience.
It's what you bring into it. It's what
it is. What you go into that building carrying in your heart and in your soul. Yourself, you know, you go in, you know, you have to know that you're strong enough and you're going to come out that strong person. You haven't to go in fear in your heart, because they will censor it and they will play on it, and they will provoke you as much as they like. Then I'll tell you what we're going to say. When I do a clearing, I always tell the person not to think about that no more. I encourage them to go for a walk in fresh air to help clear their energy, but when they come back, they're asking that energy to leave them and that they think about it no more. And they ask the guides and his family to help them with this. And I do believe it to be right, because if they go, oh, well, do you know, and then they want to talk to you about it after you've done it, and they go, what did they look like? What were his voice like? they come back.
Really?
They come back because you're inviting them back by thinking about them. Wow. And people don't realise that. I've only ever had one person, and she keeps on inviting this person back because she's curious about him. And I'm thinking, ask the questions before he goes. And she's going, no, nothing to ask. And then when you do it, she wants to know everything. And then she'll go, well, he's very far away from me, but I can still hear him, you know. And I said, well, you're lonely and you're thinking about him.
Yeah.
You can't keep thinking about him. So I've not gone back the third time because she said, well, I said, I'll come back, but I'm not going to come back again, you know. And she said, well, no, he's not that close to me now, so I'm kind of getting used to his voice now.
Oh, bless.
So, you know, sometimes they want a clearing done because they're scared of what's there.
Yeah.
But then when you get them to go away, they miss the energy and they bring them back.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. So you know, because they do say spirit can come and go as they please. But I do believe if they're a bad spirit and they are taken away, if they are taken away forcefully, I do believe they are not allowed back into the earth plane.
Well, I hope not.
I think that's with all the changes in the last few years and what's to come in the ages, and the people, you know, more people realising the light within themselves and their own spirit, and that we are all gifted and we all have something to give.
Yeah.
It's just body, and it's just about finding out what are your strongest gifts, you know, and then you can go and provoke either man, woman, or spirit, or child,
well,
or pet. Sorry. Okay. Oh, it was very interesting. I was nervous actually, and I'm enjoying it. It's been great. Thank you.
Thank you for asking me. But believe it or not, we're actually in a very
Wendy, thank you. Tell that Wendy, thank you for nominating me.
But,
she keeps trying to nominate me for all these ghost stunts. She does, bless her. But yeah, thank you, love.
Whether it be a group, whether it be medium, just have a little think about it, because by using any sort of action to get a reaction, you are actually provoking. It doesn't need to be in a bad way, but you are actually provoking.
Yeah.
So it is there. So we're all running about going, no, we'd never provoke. But we do provoke, because we're using trigger objects, we're using whatever we can use.
It that deep.
It doesn't necessarily need to be in a bad way.
No, it doesn't, no. Because I came into it thinking, no, provoking's bad. So, yeah, you've made me realise it's good as well.
See, you can have the good side, you can have the bad side.
Yeah, you can always have the good and the bad side. Just stay away from plinging Ouija boards, because they are really provoking. I really think that they're dangerous things. You don't know what you're getting. You don't know who you're getting. You don't know what other life forms are in other realms. So just be careful.
Yeah, you've got to be careful.
You've got to be careful. You don't want dark energies around you if you can help it, but some of them will be dark because they're your family, and we've all done bad things in life. You know, none of us are going to be pure light beings.
Yeah.
Or, straight away. So, okay. Thank you.
Debbie, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight and speaking to me about this.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully I've let you look at another side of it. So
yeah, it's been really, really interesting. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Everyone, please remember you can follow Parasearch Radio on, obviously, our Facebook page. You can find us on YouTube, you can find us on Twitter and the World Wide Web. So please listen to all the shows. It's lots and lots. And I will see you again next week.
Will do. So thank you very much. Take care. Enjoy your weekend.
Good night.
Good night, love.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.